Thank you, guys. It's really overwhelming to be up here and see this. I'm truly so grateful that you've taken time out of your busy lives to join us here tonight to support and celebrate fair trade fashion and free the slaves and the amazing brands and organizations and sponsors who are here tonight because just like you, they want to create a more caring world. I'm actually super terrified of public speaking, but I'm more terrified of remaining silent on important issues. And so I wanted to talk briefly about the story I put together for you tonight on the runway, because it's not just about the beautiful women you're gonna see who, after a lengthy casting, are the ones who are willing to volunteer their Saturday night to be here. And it's not just about the beautiful clothing you're gonna see either. Tonight's show is a show about activism. As many of you may remember, last November we elected a new president, and it was not the president I was hoping for. And I was really worried. And my boyfriend said something to me that really stuck with me. He said, we may not be able to rely on the government to take care of other people, and so it's going to be up to us to care for one another. I always put a lot of thought into every piece and every brand that I bring into Bead and Reel, but this year especially I was wondering, how can I use my store and my story to care for one another? I thought about how I'm really worried about our environment. Fashion is polluting our waterways, our bodies, and our landfills. And so when you see the black flower dress go down the runway, and you'll know it when you see it, keep in mind that it's made from 5 pounds of organic cotton. If that same dress were made from conventional cotton, it would require almost 3 pounds of pesticides. And I couldn't fathom putting one of my beautiful models or one of my beautiful customers in 3 pounds of pesticides. So as an activist, I chose to create a collection that focuses on small batch production, non-toxic dyes, and organic fibers. I thought to myself how I'm really worried about animals. Animals suffer greatly and unnecessarily for fashion, and I really believe that the greatness of not just a nation, but also of a person can be judged by how they treat those without a voice. As an activist who thinks that humanity actually can be great, I created a collection that's entirely vegan. There isn't a single piece of leather, bone, wool, silk, or any other part of any other living being. Thank you. I thought about how I'm worried about people of color. Both in our country and around the world, many of the most vulnerable and most exploited populations are those who are targeted simply because of their skin. Since 97% of fashion bought in America was not made in America, it's very likely that what you're wearing was made by a person of color somewhere far away who was not treated with care. As an activist, I chose to bring on brands that are supporting and uplifting vulnerable communities in 12 different countries, including our own. And lastly, I thought about how I'm worried about women. Both locally and globally, we're fighting for everything from equality to just basic human rights. I think the panel touched on some really important issues of women's role in fashion, and I want to add one more. This year, there is one female CEO of a Fortune 500 apparel company. Now, this is a huge improvement from 2015 when there was 0. However, I don't want men in charge of what I put on my body any more than I want men in charge of what I do with my body. And so as an activist, I put together a collection of 25 women-owned businesses who are empowering female artisans and female entrepreneurs. And thank you. And there are 2 man-owned businesses in the collection too, because I want to leave a lot of space for the men who do want to create a more caring world. With this collection, I'm really not asking you to critique the styles, although I do hope you see something you love. I'm asking you to critique the status quo and the ways in which we do or don't care about one another. I'm not asking you with this collection to demand change from our leaders or from large corporations. I'm really asking you to demand change from yourself. And with this collection, I'm not asking you to wait until November of next year or until 2020 to vote for the world you want. I'm asking you to cast your most powerful vote now, every time you go shopping. This collection is my story and my vote for the world that I want to live in and the ways that I'm committed to caring for each other, and I invite you to join me in wearing yours. Thank you.